The world of affordable Android tablets is fraught with problematic performance and poor build quality. That isn't often a problem when all you want is a video viewing machine, but while the Nokia T20 tablet is firmly on the affordable end of the spectrum, it is a solid option. Thanks for watching 9to5Google here on YouTube. Remember to thumbs up, hit subscribe, and then tap the bell icon to be notified about all our future uploads. So my first thought when taking the Nokia T20 out of the box was that $250 tablets probably shouldn't feel or look this good, and I'm shocked at how good the fit and finish is for that entry pricing. The rough but smooth texture of that aluminium unibody also feels great, and it looks equally impressive in the deep ocean colourway. There's just a nice reassuring heft and there's little to no body flex, something I definitely associate with cheap tablets across the entire spectrum of Android. And while the front of the chassis has definitely been influenced by the iPad, the soft contours and those flat edges of the T20 are sitting in this somewhere design in between. There's a single USB-C port at the bottom, which is flanked by an outward firing speaker, while the top bezel hosts a corner-placed 3.5mm headphone port and another outward firing speaker. The speaker sound profile on this tablet is fine, if a little bit flat. It is quite annoying to me though that the sound is fired away from you into your surroundings, as I think front-facing speakers would certainly have helped on a tablet such as this with this kind of size of bezels available. And while the 3.5mm headphone port is in a weird position in landscape mode as well, it kind of doesn't really help when you're plugging in headphones, as they start to get in the way of your hands a little bit. Other hardware buttons are in fairly familiar positions, while the solo rear camera does sit in that upper left corner and is adequate for a package such as this. At 8 megapixels, be under no illusion that this is simply there to make up the numbers. The 5 megapixel selfie camera will also be good enough, or just about good enough for Google Duo calls and maybe some conference calls, but beyond that the camera setup is, well, it's there if you need it. The sole reason though to buy the Nokia T20 beyond the impressive fit and finish, at least as far as I'm concerned, is the display, and it's simply gorgeous for a cheap piece of tech such as this. Is it the best display you'll lay eyes upon? No, but it does almost every bit of video content you'll likely consume on it more than enough justice to be a worthwhile endeavour. It's far from a perfect panel, but it's fairly bright, vibrant and has fairly good viewing angles, albeit with a slight off-axis colour shift. I do personally like the uniform bezels, and it does have a 2000 by 1200 pixel resolution, which is not technically 2K as HMD Global would have you believe, it's just a smidgen over Full HD+. I did find though that even in overcast Britain here, outdoor viewing did prove to be a little bit difficult. It's a difficult process as that glossy LCD does pick up fingerprints with kind of a lot of ease, and the auto brightness did feel out of sync with the actual lighting conditions at hand. Indoors though, it was a different story completely once I set those brightness controls to manual and stuck it with around that 75% brightness level. In reality, this display, as I mentioned, is just slightly more than 1080p, but it means when setting content to stream at slightly higher resolutions on compatible services, things do look especially crisp. The downside here is though that while YouTube does have higher resolution presets available, it doesn't actually let you set them above 1080p on the Nokia T20, which is a bit of a disappointment. I will say though that a powerhouse portable office, the Nokia T20 is definitely not. The Unisoc Tiger T610 processor hinders what is an otherwise stellar package with the odd stutter, hang, and sometimes lag does creep in there. It kind of becomes a little bit of an annoyance at times. That said, I could be considered a little bit overzealous for saying that, as this is a tablet that after all is at that sub $300 price point. Things could be faster, and they're about what I expected. So as long as you're not trying to run mountains of apps concurrently or multitasking as you would on a desktop or even a high-end laptop or tablet, things are pretty much okay. One saving grace is that Nokia has opted to keep things as close to the Android One builds, and my own tablet is running the November 2021 security patch. There's no noticeable bloat, although my review unit did come with Netflix and ExpressVPN pre-installed, which I promptly deleted that VPN client. Diving into the Google Entertainment space, which is preloaded on the Nokia T20, and this tablet starts to get into its element. It's entertainment front and centre, and it's here where you should probably spend the majority of your time, at least in my opinion. If you have a little knowledge of entertainment space, this replaces the Google Discover feed and mimics the familiar Android TV interface. You can just plug in your favourite content providers and it works in much the same way with TV, movie, game and ebook suggestions as Android TV does. I personally kept things simple and didn't really move away from the standard suite of streaming services such as Netflix, Amazon Prime Video and YouTube. For gaming, I tried to play some Call of Duty Mobile, but I found it wasn't particularly great thanks to extended loading screens and not really being able to play at the highest graphical settings with smooth performance. But with my growing horde of cloud gaming apps such as Stadia, GeForce Now and even Xbox's Game Pass, I genuinely had a blast with this tablet. It's one area where a high resolution secondary screen really does shine. Playing through Cyberpunk 2077 on Stadia, Guardians of the Galaxy on GeForce Now and Forza Horizon on Xbox Game Pass, and I'm actually lost in the experience thanks to the display on the Nokia T20. Many of the major issues I kind of have with this tablet relate more to the severely lacking Android tablet dedicated app library. A lot of apps still run as scaled smartphone apps, but at least they do work. And if you can deal with stretched interfaces that are more tailored towards a smaller smartphone screen, then this probably won't be a problem to you. HMD Global though has promised 2 years of updates with 3 years of regular security patches for this tablet, which on paper does sound great, but the firm really hasn't been so good at keeping these promises with previous Nokia phone releases. And at the risk of being an apologist, updates do tend to be less important on a tablet such as this, but important nonetheless to buyers out there, and we can only take this at face value at this stage in the product lifecycle. Nokia also has added software-based face unlock as the sole biometric security access method on this Android tablet, and in my experience it's been fairly good, but it can be a little bit slow to recognise when I'm in front of that centrally placed selfie camera. Personally, I would have really preferred a power button fingerprint scanner, but this is better than nothing at all, I must admit. I found that the 8200 mAh battery tucked neatly inside the Nokia T20 equated to what I'd consider all-day lifespan, but I have to admit, I didn't quite feel it blew me away as I thought it would prior to spending an extended period with this tablet itself. In most cases, I would hit the charger every 3 days, with my primary use coming from cloud gaming and sporadic web browsing. At no point did I really worry about running out of juice, but when I did charge from under 10%, it took almost 2.5 hours to charge with my 30-watt Google charger on top of that. In essence, there are some pieces of technology that need to meet certain criteria to be deemed worth it. In the case of an Android tablet, for most people, good battery and a decent screen are important areas. In my opinion, the Nokia T20 tablet kind of excels in those two key points, but it's only let down by less than average performance. Not everybody needs a high-end tablet when the sole purpose of using or owning one is to watch content on the move, and families with young children might be interested, as the Nokia T20 is cheap but with a premium design thrown in for good measure. My only delay in giving it a full seal of approval is that for many people, a recent iPad or a previous generation iPad might actually provide you with what is a better overall experience and with a longer lifespan with updates guaranteed. And while I will say that the build quality is good, I'm actually unsure if the Nokia T20 would withstand the daily use and abuse that a young child could dish out. For kids, I think a rugged tablet like the Fire 7 or the Fire HD 8 Kids tablets, priced at under that $150 barrier, is where you probably should turn your attention. For everyone else though looking for a cheap Android tablet with a nice screen and that doesn't look like a Tupperware lid, then the Nokia T20 is a fine package. So that is a Nokia T20 in a nutshell, nice for the price and not completely terrible. Let me know though what you think of this affordable Android tablet down in the comment sections below. But until next time, as always, this is Damien with 95Google saying thanks for watching, and I will speak to you later.